Welcome back, everybody, at Sport Federation TV. As you know, we keep talking about sport in the Western Cape. Of course, athletes have been heading off to the Olympics, and that's a lot of the big talk at the moment. We will be catching up with Barry Hendricks, the president of SASCOC, next week, as of course we'll touch base with him, as Team South Africa has now officially gone off to Tokyo. But in the meantime, we've got our superstars that are staying active in the Western Cape. And of course, one of our big sporting codes in South Africa is archery. And joining me back on the line now is Marie-Louise Vermeulen. Marie-Louise, welcome back to Sport Federation TV. Nice to have you back.
Hi, JP. Yes, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Well, I think the privilege is ours. We're able to speak to a superstar like yourself. So we're more grateful to have the opportunity. But tell us, Marie-Louise, I mean, it's been a while now since we spoke to you last. Apart from the fact that you, if I remember correctly, started your archery career by visiting the Nottingham Forest. How's archery going on your side?
Yeah, that's correct. Archery is going a little slow at the moment, but I'm still enjoying it. COVID's definitely slowed us down, but now that the club is open up again, we can finally start to train and hopefully work towards our goals again. Let's
go back a little bit. Yeah, we are also taking this opportunity in the last few days because we know that we're not seeing too many events with results and fixtures and logs and so on in the general sporting space. Just tell us a little bit in terms of archery. I mean, we've got archery at the Olympics at the moment. Just give us a rundown of the different type of archery that you get and how does it work?
Okay, so there are many different disciplines within archery. So you get what we call Olympic archery, which is basically your recurve Olympic bow. It's got a lot of extras on it. Then you also get your compound bow, in which you can shoot many different disciplines. So you've got your world archery discipline, as well as your field discipline, or what we now call Sanifa. And then there's the 3DI discipline, which is more your 3D targets. It leans a bit more towards hunting. And then there's also NASP, which is our archery in the schools program.
And your speciality is?
I focus mostly on the recurve, on the Olympic recurve bow, so world archery, but I also enjoy field archery, and I also do 3DI with a compound bow.
So which one of those three then do you have to spend the most time training for yourself to be successful?
Definitely the Olympic recurve bow. It takes a lot more training, in my opinion, than the compound bow, but I do think that's also because I have a very good foundation with the recurve bow, especially before I started doing compound. So I was shooting recurve for about 8 years before I picked up a compound bow for the first time.
And when you're doing or using the other bows, does it help you in terms of your primary code? Or, I mean, some people say that you should not do water polo if you're a swimmer, and you should not play squash if you're a tennis player. Are there any of those type of dynamics involved?
I think different coaches will definitely have different opinions. In my opinion, you should start out with one, and I do think starting out with recurve is a very good idea because, in my opinion, it is the more difficult bow to shoot.
Yeah.
So if you start out with that, the basics for all the different types of bows are basically the same. So if you start out with a more difficult one, going over to another one is a lot easier later on. So I say, or I suggest that you get a good foundation in recurve, and then you can switch over to whichever bow type you like afterwards.
Do you need to be strong to do archery? When we look at the pictures and see the videos, people like me, of course, that are watching from far away, we see you guys standing with your arms stretched out for quite a long time before you shoot. Do you need strong shoulder muscles and arms?
Well, it really depends on what you want to achieve in archery. So if you want to go to the Olympics, yes, you need to be strong, very strong. Your whole body, not just your upper body. Everything needs to be able to work together as well as your core. But you also, if you look at some of the kids that we coach, we have 5, 6-year-olds that can shoot a bow. So depending on your age category, it determines how far you need to be able to shoot. Obviously, the further you need to shoot, the stronger your bow needs to be, so the stronger you need to be. But the little ones, or if you're just shooting for socially, then no, you don't have to be very strong.
the other thing that I've often wondered about is, do you need to be fit? Because you're not moving around, but at the same time, when we look at you guys doing this, you're really controlling your breathing and keeping yourself as still as possible.
Yes, definitely. I think fitness plays a very big role. Maybe not cardio fitness, but I think a lot of archers do quite a bit of weightlifting, or we work on training our smaller muscle groups and not just the big muscles, as well as we've definitely focused a lot on our breathing. I often have people that tell me, sure, you make it look so easy, you can barely see the arrow moving, but the shot takes off. How do you do it? And I guess it just takes a lot of practice. I think some of the best training for archery is shooting and also doing bow training. So doing like weightlifting with your actual bow, just to get used to it. I've been off shooting for quite a while now due to personal reasons. And I'm just getting back into it again this week. And I can feel after, normally we shoot about 140, 160 arrows in a practice or in a tournament. When I get to arrow about 60, 65, now I'm tired. So yes, it definitely takes quite a bit of hard work. And it's going to take a while again to get nice and fit and strong to shoot that bow again.
Well, your last event was the National Championships earlier in the year.
Yes.
Before this sad COVID stuff struck us. But I mean, that must have been exciting for you. Tell us a little about the events. It was, of course, the National Outdoor Champs.
Okay, so last year our Outdoor Champs was postponed, or you could say cancelled, because we never had our 2020 National Championships. But then we had one this year. It was announced about 3 weeks before the event actually took place. So I don't think anyone was really ready for the National Championships. I mean, I specifically know I hadn't trained at all, and I think it was in February, and then in Feb we found out, or in March we found out it was going to be beginning of April. So then I only really started training in March. It was pretty good. Western Cape did extremely well. We took quite a couple of gold medals. We had an under 13 gold who took gold. We had our Master Recurve man take gold. We had our Bebo man take gold. I took silver. We had our Master woman in Recurve also took gold. So yeah, Western Cape did extremely well, despite the fact that we hadn't really prepared so well. But it was a good national championships. It was just different. You could see with the whole COVID thing, with the social distancing and the fact that there couldn't be any spectators, the vibe was just very, very different. And I really miss the way it used to be.
Yeah, it's terrible circumstances at the moment. But I must say we're very proud of the fact that you guys have been able to adapt. And we know that all of you as high performance athletes have now had to bring in an additional dynamic to your training you know, so we're aware of that, and we understand it's very difficult. But one of the things that you have done to help adapt is that you're also doing some virtual shooting, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, we did quite a lot of virtual shooting during the actual level 5 lockdown last year. So what people did was they put up little butts in their homes or in their apartments or in their backyards, and where they could shoot at 5 or 10 or maybe 15 meters. And then we would share targets amongst our clubs, amongst the clubs within the province. And then everyone would shoot on their target, and they would send in their scores. And they actually had like little leagues where they competed, and then at the end there were little prizes when we came out of level 5 lockdown.
Marie-Louise, and of course, if anybody wants to join an archery club, as we touched on earlier on, they can visit wparchery.co.za. I see you've got a ton of clubs on your website.
Yeah, we have a lot of clubs. They spread mostly around the Cape Town area, but then we also have one in the West Coast. We have one close to Hermanus. We have clubs in the Eden Valley. So there are quite a lot of clubs, and they can definitely visit the website.
Marie-Louise, we'll leave it at that, and we'll say to you, it's great catching up with you. We're so happy to be chatting with you, and we'll look forward to finding out more when we talk again.
Awesome. Thank you very much, JP.
There we go, folks. Marie-Louise Vermeulen. She is Western Cape Archery champion, silver medalist at the recent Nationals, and of course secretary to Western Cape. And if you are interested in archery, it's very exciting. There's so many different things that you can do there. And I love the fact that archery gives you a bit of Zen-like feel. Well, at least that's the way that it looks from my side of things. And just go and visit the website, www.wparchery.co.za, and go and look for the details of a club near you. Get in touch. Folks, we'll take an ad break. When we come back, we carry on talking about sport in the province. Back in a sec.